Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. Let's get started on all of this rocks work. So hopefully start with a gentle one, which is just updating some project settings. So the first one we want to do is not that one. It is this one. We want to change debug type to embedded. And this should be pretty simple. I don't think we need to say include symbols. We definitely don't need to say this anymore, but we do need to say debug. So I do want to look up include symbols. What does that mean? Because I don't remember. .NET csproj include symbols. How to pack in additional symbols Snupcake with new CS. Oh, that is for Snupcake. So we don't need to do that anymore. If I can get back to rocks here, I can take that off. So I believe what that should do now is if I go to my repos and rocks, source, rocks, where are we actually doing this right now? Configuration manager, it is release. Okay, so if we go to bin, release, and I'm also going to change here now in the build props, make this 830. One thing that somebody told me at work is consider starting to use the folder view instead of the solution view, because this shows you everything that's in the solution. And, or actually, I guess technically it's the repository because the solution is actually here. But that way you don't need to have like solution, like files added to the solution itself. You can just see everything here. And I'm kind of like, I do like that. I do like that. It does seem to be a little bit better. And quite frankly, solution files suck. You know, I know there's this SLNX format that they're looking at creating or are working on, which I guess would be nice as long as it would do like inclusion of all files and all that other stuff. But in any event, we now have that as 8.3. We're still going to target .NET 8. We're not going to move to 9 until I get to the 9.0 branch. And this branch is actually made off of a feature branch 8.3.0. Feature branches and you know, like having that kind of set, again, I don't usually do, but I want to start doing that because I want my work separated with release branches. And then once everything's done for 8.3, I would merge that back in the main and then release off of that. All right. So anyway, now if I say build, why is that not building? Oh my God, you have to be in Solution Explorer. You have to be in the solution view to actually build. That kind of stinks, but oh well. So now you see here we have an 8.3.0, but we don't have Snupcake. So everything is now getting generated within. So I think that is the first part of this. So that's done. And then also while we're here, this one will be simple, is to take that off. We don't need that anymore. And in fact, here, we can just go into here and take this off as well, because that's the only one that had it. So now if we do a build, clean and build, that should be fine as well. Huh. It's interesting that Ninject is at a 4.0 beta 1. That's kind of odd. I actually want to see if I go here, NuGet packages for solutions. This is the whole squirrel thing. Sometimes I get like, woof. Well, why did that happen? So we do have updates for these. We could say update. I mean, I don't know why not. We'll run all the tests and do all the things. And then let's see pre-release. Is Ninject. I wonder if that's just kind of a dead package at this point. Because I don't want to pick these if I don't have to. If I say installed, that's still a beta 1. Okay, fine. All right. So let's run all tests, and if this works, then we'll just commit this. Actually, yeah, because the vulnerability stuff I want to spend a little bit more time on. So I'll be right back with the results. Okay, that all built. That's good. So the other thing we need, so I can close out some of these tabs that I'm looking at here. That one, and that one. That's this one. So this is about doing some settings for auditing on your project. Now I'm going to first just do this on Rocks itself, because again, I think with doing this on all CodeGen, all the projects, including CodeGen, that could get to be quite hard. Though now that I say that, maybe the right thing to do is this. That's what branches are for, right? So let's give this a whirl. NuGet audit, LM, NuGet audit is true. Let's just go full blast. So we wanted audit level. Wait, we were just NuGet audit. So is this actually dot? So this is 8. So now I'm actually a little confused. Okay, here's the settings we're looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. So we have NuGet audit is true. NuGet audit level low. Let's just crank it up. Why not? And then mode. So we can do direct, or transitive. Okay. And I am going to just put this in here because let's see what this does. Does this make my build take for freaking ever? Does it cause all sorts of things to go? I don't believe you. I want to put in that Will Ferrell thing. I don't believe you. I think that's actually, that doesn't seem right. Because that seemed to, because I know if I go to the solution itself and I say, look at all this, I know I've got a couple that have vulnerabilities. I think it's transitive references. So I don't believe that it just told me that that's what's taking you forever? There we go. I mean, I know there's a lot of projects, so it does take quite a long time. What if we say, oh, we don't have any vulnerables? Well, I guess that's why. And I just updated this and there. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to shut down startup again because I don't quite believe it. I just don't think that that's actually true. But what do I know? No, don't just build again. Say clean, and it builds. All right. Well, and that went quicker than I expected it to. So we're just going to say git commit 321 added new get auditing. And now what we want to do is make sure we update our change log because we're good citizens of the world. Not yet released. And we want to say minor project changes removed GitHub source linking, which people, what'd you do that for? Well, read the issue, damn it. 321 remove GitHub source linking, embedded debug information, and added NuGet auditing. There. Okay, that's good enough. Git commit. I wish tab would move here. That's updated change log time for a merge. All right, so I'm going to merge this in and start working on another feature. Okay, the next one I'm going to work on is this one. So it's actually not an analyzer, it's a diagnostic. And as I was looking through this, just close out this. Yeah. Okay. So when I was looking at this, I realized that in the mock model, we do a create, and this is where we actually do all the diagnostics, which end up being analyzers. So I thought it was a separate thing we do, but it's not. We finally get the type, and then if the type has diagnostics, then they actually show up as analyzers. So, because if you look here, and rock analyzer, that uses the same thing. And so it looks and says, if the information is null, then get the diagnostics and report them. So the thing is here, though, is that we're going to have to update this so that this also uses the right things. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I don't think this is actually correct because we're missing the other attributes here. If I'm reading this right, we never updated this for the non-generic ones because there's like rock create, there is this and this. Oopsie. Whoops. So I'm going to have to say here, because that'll be one coming up to do. This needs to include the non-generic versions as well as the upcoming rock attribute. I'll tackle that later because that's not the point of this. The point is when we get into the model is to actually look at the type symbol and say, are you an open generic? Because if you're not an open generic, then we don't do anything, okay? Or we report a diagnostic. So let's look at our type here. Look at one of these. So we say we create a descriptor, which has a matching thing and a blah-de-blah-de-blah. Okay. So, because the descriptor here, type is inaccessible abstract members, has an 8. I don't remember off the top of my head how far we want the numbers. Hold on. Okay, so seems like we've gone to 13. So the next one would be rock 14. Let's make sure that that does not exist. That's weird. It's not saying find all. Okay, that was bizarre. You saw that it was... Okay, so it is 14. Okay. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create the descriptor and the diagnostic, and we're going to use type as inaccessible. What do we want to call this? Avoid... We should probably call it type is closed generic descriptor. Okay. Type is closed generic descriptor. Okay. So we'll do that, that, and that. This is 14. The type is a closed generic. We can mock it. Type is a closed generic. There. Okay. This will be fun because this is probably going to change a bunch of things that I'm not realizing, like in the code generation project. I think if I look at a generic type, I'm saying make it closed and make it open. So I can actually potentially get rid of some code. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so we have type is closed generic. Let's do that here as well. Type is closed generic diagnostic. That is just a name there. And then we say type is closed generic descriptor. So that's kind of the boilerplate that we need. And if I remember right in tests, yeah, we do have some tests here. So let's make sure that we're doing the right thing. Type is closed generic descriptor test. Type is closed generic descriptor tests. So let's do that. Type is closed generic descriptor. Come on. Type is closed. You know, it's funny. It's raining out right now. And my wife and I last night were, before dinner, our neighbors are gone. They asked us to water their flowers and stuff. And then my wife wanted us to water all like the flowers and everything around the house. So I was kind of hungry. I'm like, can I just do that? And then you do this? Thinking, well, it's supposed to rain either yesterday or today. And today, of course, it's just constant rain this morning. So, but it's funny, at least where I live, that we've been getting a ton of rain, which, yeah, that's caused some flooding problems. That's not a good thing. But where we live, it's great because at least for our yard, we don't ever have to water it. There's no point in watering it. We've gotten so much rain. Everything's been really, really healthy. But I've also noticed living in Minnesota that if you even get like 4 or 5 days of no rain, it doesn't take much for the stuff to kind of go, help outside. I need water. So yeah, anytime it rains, it's great. I haven't had to go outside in the morning and do we don't have automatic sprinklers. I have to set one up and put it around every so often. I haven't had to do that at all this year so far, which is great. Love it. So we do not have tests for this. It would probably be a good idea to maybe have a test with this. Just saying type is closed generic tests. Because I keep talking, and I'm kind of surprised with these I don't. I'm looking at my code here going public class generic of... Sorry, I'm going through my head going, why is there an invocation here? It's just a syntax node. Why do you care about... I think what I want... How do I do this? I want to find a... Well, actually, okay, I'm sorry. I back up a second here. This isn't about actually finding if it's a diagnostic. This is just going through the motions of, did this actually find it? If that makes sense. Type is generic diagnostic. Where you go here and that just does this. It's not actually the logic to figure out, do you actually have it? So even though this is a closed generic, that looks a little weird. Descriptor. Let's see if this actually works the way I think it should, because it's a weird test to look at because it's not like are you actually checking to see if it's closed or not? Yeah, you're just saying, is the data that's reported with it, is it correct or not? And this one should also pass. Okay, so we got those done. So let's commit that. 326 added descriptor and diagnostic with tests. Okay, so we got that. Now let's actually look at the mock model, because this is where we want to actually do it. And I believe we could say here, if type2 mock is open generic. If it's not an open generic, then we say type is closed generic diagnostic. And now this is all we need to do, but I guarantee you this is going to break a bunch of crap because there's a lot of tests that I take that back. I'm sorry, I'm overthinking this. This is just the analyzer. We actually haven't removed the code to disallow closed generics. This is just one to say, and actually, now that I think about it, I was getting way ahead of myself. The descriptor should have this as being a warning, not an error just yet. And I should say here, to do in 9.0.0, this should change to an error level. There. Okay. Just a quick note for myself. This is purely for analysis purposes. That's it. So, but I'm still kind of interested in the code generation stuff because it probably is looking to see if you can create a closed generic and doing it. And I believe we also have tests. The tests, I don't know. I'll be kind of interested to see what happens when I run all these. But yeah, now if we find something that is an open generic, this one has open generics, and it just keeps recursively doing it. So we should have tests. We should have tests around this. It is open generic tests. Yes, we do. So that's false. That's true because these are still open. That's false. So we do have some tests. I'm saying they're not comprehensive tests, but we do have some tests. So let's see what happens when we run just the tests here. 48 fail, which, okay. The diagnostics here. Yes. Okay. That's fine. That's a warning. That's a quick one. But in the models here is a closed generic. Really? Oh, yeah. I can't be that aggressive. We have to be a little bit more cautious than that. This is why you do what, folks? Write tests. Because I'm saying if it's not an open generic, well, it can just be not even generic at all, which is fine. So let's go back to mock model. And let's say if type 2 mock is generic, which this might be a little, if type kind equals type kind generic, nope. It is a type. I think I'm going to have to say if it's a, because we're getting a type symbol, and I need to say if type mock is I named type symbol, named type 2 mock, and named type 2 mock is generic type. True if this type or some containing type has type parameters. Unbound generic type. True if this is a reference to unbound. Generic type is unbound if all the type arguments listed as a fully quiet. Yeah, not all, we want some, but this needs to be is generic type. And so if it's a name type and it's a generic type and it's an open generic, then we do this. Let's see what happens. 2 fail. That's much less. And that can be duplicate constructor test. Interesting. What's this? These are closed. Rock analyzer matches. So we actually have analyzer matches here. And this makes sense because this one is failing because it's getting an extra diagnostic. So, but I believe if I change this to type converter, that's what we had. What we want to say is it's a type converter with that gone. That's what we want, I believe. Except we need one extra brace there. Okay, if I run this test now, it still fails. Mismatch between actually 0. Okay, so this is the end of this episode because I'm getting near time. So I'm going to pick up in the next episode why this is failing, and I'm sure I'll figure it out as soon as I look at it. I got the feeling I'm not making a check quite correctly that I should be. So we'll pick this up in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.